Welcome back, folks, to the 1.3 common test server. Now in the patch notes, there's a very small one-liner change to the IS-3A, but it is pretty huge. Well, significantly speaking, it is pretty huge. They basically added the testing version of the Autoreloader 122 to this vehicle from the testing clone or dummy. So originally, there were two copies of the IS-3A. One is a premium version that a lot of players have in their garage, and the other one is a testing clone that was introduced in patch 1.1 that had an auto-reloader where it reloads the first shell the fastest compared to 2 more rounds, which reloads subsequently slower. So it's like a reversed auto-reloader, no drawback compared to the Italians. Now it's actually mounted on the premium version from the testing clone, so you get a buff for this vehicle. I played it. It is actually pretty fun because you basically kill any tier 6, any tier 7 with the with the clip, but you also reload the next shell without all the drawbacks of playing auto reloaders because it takes about the same time as the IS-3, 11 seconds. So it's like 4 shells, 3 of those in a clip, and the next shell is just whatever. So there's no drawbacks. It's actually pretty fun, but in all honesty, it's still not as good as a 252U because the armor is lacking and they reduced the horsepower per ton ratio, obviously. So it's still pretty fun and revitalizes this vehicle because originally it was just a copy of IS-3 with a stock turret and firing APCR out of the D25T, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, it actually revitalizes this vehicle, but had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. So here is the auto reloader, now equipped for this vehicle. Has 3 shells in the magazine, so reloads the first shell the fastest, then subsequently slower reload for 2 more rounds. So you can actually reload this gun at 45 seconds for 3 rounds. It's not as good as a AMX 5100, of course, but it's more flexible, so you can choose your reload, obviously. So compare this with the auto reloaders on the Italians, there's no drawback. So they reload the last shell the fastest, so that encourages you to play more of a conventional one-shot when needed, but also switch to the auto reloader when you're desperate, or the full unloading of the clip autoloader. Whereas playing this vehicle, there's no drawback. You just load the next shell as you would with playing IS-3s. Now there is a downside. It's not exactly a downside, but you cannot put a rammer on this vehicle. So disappointingly, compared to Italians, you cannot put a rammer, but okay, I put an optics because Russian tanks have garbage view range. So now it's still okay-ish. I mean, it's a pretty interesting premium, but I still would recommend a 252U, obviously. So here is the comparison. Take a quick look, but you can also fire all gold shell out of this thing, and holy crap, it's hilarious. Gold shell is a high explosive anti-tank that has 270mm of pen, so you will chew through some of the tier 10s, but when this thing faces a tier 6 with a fully loaded clip, holy crap, it's hilarious. It's like playing with ISU 152, but you have one more round against a light tank or something, and you reload the next shell, the same reload speed as a normal IS-3, about 11 seconds. So 11.22 seconds, that is nuts. So let's play with this thing. Holy crap, this thing is actually pretty fun. Well, jump cut from yesterday. It's mostly because there was a CPU issue and there was a frame rate drop to like 10 and the CPU loading got to like 100%, so they patched that issue out, but it has been a day, so jump cut. It was yesterday and we're playing this vehicle today because you don't want to try to auto reload at 10 frames per second. But I think this vehicle is still okay. I mean, it's on par. Actually, slightly below 252U. It is great. It is amazing against tier 6s and tier 7s, and they don't get it. It's just like 3 rounds. What the frick? From an IS-3 that continues to shoot afterwards. But when you're facing a tier 10, unless you're spamming high explosive anti-tank like a scum, you still have to play this thing like a slower IS-3 because the horsepower per turn ratio is 10.5 compared to 14. But all in all, it's still a new gimmick that revitalizes a whatever tank that they used to sell. It's not available in the tech tree, so you don't get this thing from the tech tree, but it's a whole new gimmick. So basically, can we have this gimmick on the IS-4? That would be great. On vehicles like the IS-6, IS-4. Actually, IS-6 got a buff, but the buff is not great. The buff is whatever. Mostly because the premium shell sucks. The good thing about this vehicle is the high explosive anti-tank is 270mm a pen. Whereas the gold shell from the IS-4, that thing is still like 210, 215-ish. So, they also buffed the aim time of this gun from 3.4 seconds to 3 seconds. So you can actually aim now. And this gun promotes a spamming of the clip rather than shooting the first shell as a conventional gun, because the first shell reload is a lot faster than the last shell. So we'll go over here. Come on, 6 more seconds. Ah, fuck it. Also, I wish they added more zoom mod to the default base of the game, like 40% or 40x. Got short memory batteries A against a bunch of dudes. Is the 277 there? Yes, the 277 is there. Okay, they have the hill. We can push. So would I recommend you getting this vehicle over the 252U? No, I would not. It is great. This vehicle is great against tier 6s. It's hilarious. But 357 rule, so you don't always get into, you know, against tier 6s. Yeah, he's on fire. Still on fire. So it's still a Russian gun. It's still 0.44 accuracy base, so it's like 0.42, but you're not gonna get much out of this thing. Out of the accuracy department. I have a FE455. Most of their team is on the hill, so we're going to help out. But yeah, it's a gimmick. It's a whole new gimmick. Well, not exactly a whole new, but it's a reversed whole new gimmick. That's actually better than the Italian. What the hell am I driving on? It's better than the Italian auto-reloaders. That's for sure. I agree that this gun is a lot better than the auto-reloaders on the Italian version, even though the accuracy is garbage. But you can shoot without any penalties. The only downside is it does not encourage you to have a full clip because of the reload time. But other than that, go nuts. Also, it does share the drawbacks of playing as using all high explosive anti-tank. So switching the shells is also pretty rough because you cannot have all the shells mixed and matched in the clip. Where are you going, bro? I have a clip, bro. You think you're safe with your high HP? Suck it. Alright. Like, that's a great demonstration. Yeah, you can nuke my friend, but I'm going to nuke you in return. I'm loading the shells again. Oh. D-track is also very important, but that was hilarious. Have a teammate with you at all times if you can. I tank. You can with your 150. Yeah, there you go. Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, I missed. It's ABCR shell. Jump off the cliff. Jump off the cliff. You're not going anywhere. There we go. Yeah, so that's like a crappy demonstration, but it's a premium tank. I'm not spamming gold shell. There's another downside to the IS-3A. It's the same as the IS-3, which is the low shell capacity of 28 rounds. Yeah, 28 rounds of 122, potential damage of about 10,000. 1,000. I didn't do much. I actually hit the last shell on the TV-54 lightweight twice. But yeah, as you can see, 3 rounds. They don't expect it. Oh, I can burst this ISU, take 1 hit from the IS-3, and we can run away. That's what the FE455 thought. But psych! I have 3 rounds. I'm going to clip into your tracks, detrack you, and kill you. So it's a surprise. Well, I mean, it's not exactly a secret, but you cannot test this vehicle normally if you don't already have one, so that's unfortunate. And I probably bet they're going to resell it and rebrand the IS-3A as a new fashionable Russian heavy tank of the month. Even garbagey Russian gets buffed, when as garbagey other nation vehicles like the T-34 American heavy tank does not get such nice treatment. Alright. Ooh, we have a player who has unlocked the 279E. It's the 726. I forgot the whole term. Alright, so it's still pretty hilarious, but remember, this thing has only 10.5 horsepower per ton ratio, whereas the IS-3 has 14 or 15. So you're not fast going anywhere, but you have a low you have a low gun. Ooh, I'm surprised they actually buffed the Object 260 in the T55A, but couldn't you also buff like the T28 heavy tank concept and the Stuk 4? Those were actually more crap than the higher ones, the higher reward vehicles. Okay. Alright, we're going to town. Turn off the lights, damage the light tanks. I already finished this on the main server. So the test server is always like a few weeks lagging behind the main server, but they're using your main stats, so we're not going to town. Alright, fine guys. I'll go inside the ditch. There is no light tanks, so we shouldn't be that afraid. Nice. Well, I'm following the heaviest dudes. It does take like 15 or not 15. Well, 15 average seconds to reload the shells in all the shells in the clip, but it's like 45 seconds for 3 shells. So, I mean, once you have the shells, it's great. If you don't have the shells, it's not that great. Come on, push up. Oh, there is artillery in play. So we'll camp here because there's a lot of dudes on the hill. There's a lot of dudes on the hill. And it does promote you to unload the clip fully. Oh, we lost the hill. So loading the last shell takes 17 seconds. So this discourages you to have a unloaded clip. So you cannot. Oh, it's ineffective to play this vehicle as a normal IS-3 with all the shells loaded for now, but once you have all the shells, oh yeah. Nuke him from orbit. So there's a lot of dudes. I'm waiting on my teammates right here to spot and take their time. Ooh, the T-95 gets hammered. Well, he is facing the wrong way. Yeah, he's facing the wrong way. It is the test server after all. Yeah, I missed that shot. There we go. T-34 turret. Of course, of course. Miss. There's likely a T-34 in front of him. Oh, I missed just a shot. Tier in the middle of the field. Take our time to reload. So it does promote you to have a unloaded clip in order to constantly spam the shells. But if you want to have the auto-loading capabilities of a clip, you need to wait a long time. I don't think that's a drawback. I really don't think that's a drawback. The drawback is the Italian playstyle. And the Italian playstyles, yeah. I mean, you have the clip, unless you unload, it will take the longest. So it's like a, well, it is the reversed auto-reloader, but which one is better? Well, if you're fighting face to face for all the time, this way is a lot better because you're unloading all the time. You don't need to have the drawback of not having the clip. Whereas the auto-reloader is more beneficial, well, not really, when you're comparing it to the auto-loaders of the Batchat and other stuff, but well, we'll just camp here, I guess. Yeah. Let me try to switch to the high explosive AT once I finish the clip. There is a WZ-120 and a Waffentrager Panzer IV camping the hill, or supporting the hill. So I have to be a little bit more wary to go there initially. We have a Centurion pushing up, so that's good. Man, top tier gameplay, camping in the back and sniping with a D25T. Well, what do you want? High quality gameplay. Oh, he's dead. Very high quality. But yeah, if this thing is top tier, holy crap, you melt tier 6s like nothing. No problem melting tier 6s. Oh, he's dead. Don't go into the middle of the field and expect to live. Alright. T-57 Heavy, please let me unload you. Unload on you. There. Wow, AMX 5100 already ran all the way over there now. Get up, get up. Get on up. Alright, so we have the Waffentrager, we have the WZ, likely in the fields, so I have to go inside the ditch, fall back into the ditch. It's still Russian garbage view range, that's also another problem. So Russian view range 350 for heavy tanks at tier 8, garbage. But I put optics on this thing, which helps dramatically, but you have to be careful against like vehicles such as the T-57 Heavy. Why don't I have a shot? It's a flat ground. Buildings? Likely buildings. Yep, it's a building. Alright, Waffentrager. Can be in the town. Why am I sniping with the IS? I play too much of the live server. Just like, don't rush into things when you're not prepared. He's on some of the bush in that corner. We'll see him. Alright. He'll be exposed relatively soon. There he is. Come on, you're going to get fried. Oh, there was a building there. So one more. It is a premium tank. You're making premium credits and career XP, but there's no loader, so you're gonna train safe stowage. That's also a problem. Well, I mean, I didn't do much. Wow, T95 got 0 damage. Jesus. Oh, well, would you buy this thing for like 40 bucks, 50 bucks? I wouldn't. I got it as a gift, so a long time ago, but yeah, 50 bucks for a new gimmick. It's still a IS-3. You have to remember that. And I'll show you guys the horsepower per ton ratio later. I already did show you guys the thing, right? I can't even see it now. What the frick? But it is still a stock engine IS-3, so 10.5 horsepower per ton ratio is not fast. It's great. If this vehicle is top tier all the time, 357 matchup, it's great. It's amazing. You can fully clip a you don't have to fully clip. You just 2-shell clip a tier 6 medium or heavy, or 3-shell clip a tier 6 heavy, and you're like haha in your face, and you get back to shooting other tanks with normal reload at 11 seconds. Downside is there's no rammer, there's no loader, and only have 28 rounds. So I mean, that's the same as the IS-6 in a sense. Only like 30 rounds for the IS-6, and garbage accuracy. Reload is also bleh. But I still think it's decent. It's unless you're shooting high explosive anti-tank with a partner in a bottom tier matchmaking against tier 10s. I would still prefer the Object 252U in that sort of matchup, because you'll have a more reliable armor against tier 10s, against higher penetration guns, and you have a faster horsepower per ton ratio. The Object 252U has about 13.8 horsepower per ton ratio. Yeah, obviously you would choose that over this thing, but it has the gun gimmick out of this thing, so alright. I'll show you guys the reload of the APCR to the high explosive anti-tank, because it's the same downside to the Italian autoloaders. You have to unload the entire shell rack, entire clip, load new shells. So if you have a fully loaded clip, it's gone if you want to switch out to gold shell. So that's a downside, but you already know that from the Italians. So I'm going to load 2 shells, and then I'm going to switch to high explosive anti-tank, and you'll see the difference. Actually, I'll load the 45 seconds, the full clip, and you'll see the difference. What the frick is happening? Well, no. Take a quick look, and there's no artillery, so nope. No thanks. We're going back. Oh, hold on. Fry him! Oh, he's behind the rock. So, I have all the shells loaded. If I want to switch to high explosive anti-tank, all the shells are gone. All the shells are unloaded. So it's the same with 2 rounds as well. I'll show you guys switching back to APCR. We're not going to town. You will be suicidal against a mouse going to town with this thing. So they have a T30, which is a big boy on the hill. So here are 2 shells in the clip. Switching to APCR unloads all the clips, or all the shells in the clip. That's always been the stuff of auto-reloaders, so you cannot mix and match your shells. And we're going to bum rush, I guess. Alright. So that's a demonstration of the stuff. Holy crap. Well, we got their T30 and STG, so congrats guys. Let's rush. T50, E50. There we go. All the shells in the clip. Everybody's happy. Bum rushing this place. So, yeah, playing this game, you need to have a sense of humor now. So if everybody bum rush, just follow them. Don't suicide. Just like, oh, we need to protect the city, the town. The town is not really part of the map. When nobody's there, you'll get wrecked if you go by yourself. Alright, everybody, clamber around. Let's all have group butt sex. Did they buff this hill? It's a lot easier to get up. Yes! All butt sex. Let's do this. I'm sorry. Politeness is still key. Tier, just rest. All butt sex all the time. Ow, my face. T50. T5A, Bulldog. I'm bouncing shells. Well, from the Bulldog. Alright, reload. Fine. Well, this has been a weird match. I cannot penetrate a mouse turret. There's no way in God's green earth I'm going to penetrate a mouse turret. Oh, they can do it for me. Okay, what am I seeing? There's the Bulldog. Okay, there goes the Bulldog. Detrack him. I have 2 rounds, bro. He's just like, what? He shot me again! I love that surprise reaction. Alright, just stay alive. Who's behind me? Around the Borsig? Bye. So it still promotes you to go back towards playing as a normal IS-3 once your clip is gone. Ow. Go away. I still can play as a normal IS-3. Alright, we have high explosive AT from T55A. As long as I don't go over there, I'll be fine. So just wait for my teammates. Yeah, you can spam your high explosive AT into the freaking ground. Can I shoot this guy? Nope. He's on a... Oh, actually I could. Shoot him! There's the dude. Get him! Butt sex him! Yeah, get him! Pull back. I have 2 more rounds in the clip. Space armor still is a thing. Or the T95 is also there. Oh shit. Butt sex him. I still think, I mean, once people catch on, it's a 3-shell autoloader or auto-reloader, they'll be like, yeah, I'll be a little bit more wary facing IS-3. Now people think it's just an IS-3. People think once you shoot 1 shell, they can just poke back and trade shots, but it's not. I will go up this mountain, and he fired all the shells. You are detract. I still think it's a pretty decent tank. Overall, after 3 rounds of actual gameplay, not FPS drop, I think it's still pretty decent. I mean, we're not top tier. We did not fight a tier 6. This thing will be hilarious against a tier 6. 2 rounds and they're dead. But if you hate the matchmaking, if you hate the 3, 5, 7 matchmaking, yeah, you don't pick this thing most of the time. Well, you still pick it, but it's a lot better than picking the original IS-3A, that's for sure. So, yeah, where's the horsepower per ton ratio? 10.55. Compared to the IS-3, it's 14. Compared to any other tier 8 heavies, let's see. Heavy tanks of tier 8. So, obviously, KV4 is slow. Yep. It has lower horsepower per ton ratio than the KV4. Jeez. ISM, yep. About 13.5-ish. Yep. Tiger 2. Wow. Surprisingly, they did not. I thought it was 11. I think they nerfed. Wow, that was a long time ago. Holy crap. They nerfed the top engine. They removed the top engine from the Tiger tanks. Like 8.7, patch 8.7 or something, but it's slower than the Luva. It's slower than, obviously, than the T32, then the T34, then the Carnarvon, obviously slower than the 110, WZ111, and the Emil. Yeah, it's slow to rev up, but it's a gimmick. So I think, would you spend $50 on a slight changed IS-3A? I wouldn't. I would say still $30 or so. That's just me, but it's still the same armor as the IS-3. The armor is okay against tier 6s, against tier 7s, but if you hate the matchmaking, if you hate getting artillery all the time, I do not recommend a premium heavy tank at tier 8 in the current meta. I would recommend something like the STRV S1 because I love playing that thing. You don't get your face into all the artillery hits, all the conflict up front, you just camp in the back. If you like camping in the back playstyle, you play this thing. I played it a lot. And you can play with, if you don't have the gold, I would recommend stuff like maybe mediums. Like, where's the premium button? There it is. Premium tier 8s. I would recommend the Super Persh because they buffed it. It has a lot more penetration now and the preferential matchmaking, and it costs only like 7,000 gold. So there's a lot of benefits to play the Super Pershing. That's what I recommend. But where's the hell is the gold price? Super Persh, 7,000 gold. So if you earn like a lot of gold from the tournaments currently on the North America server, I would recommend the Super Pershing. But otherwise, yeah, play with tank destroyers, sneaky tank destroyers like the STRV S1, the WZ120, 1G FT, the Scorpion G if you already have it. But those cost like 10,000 gold. So medium tanks usually cost a little bit less. But for the Super Pershing, it's dirt cheap compared to the other ones. So for the IS-3A, it's a gimmick. So yeah, it's a gimmick. But yeah, no rammer. That's a downside. Also, there's no rammer. That would be great if it had a rammer, but yeah. How high of the scale would I rate it out of 10, like 1 to 10? Originally, for the original IS-3A, I will give it a 6 out of 10, mostly. It's not great. I mean, it's slower than the IS-3. Doesn't get the shell normalization as well. So, the original IS-3A would get a... yeah, 5. Fuck it. I'll give it 5. Not 6. 6 is too high. Now, it's more like... now, it's more like... I'm thinking 8 out of 10, mostly because you can spam high explosive anti-tank out of this thing, and it's not bad. Whereas if you spam high explosive anti-tank out of stuff like, I don't know, the APCR out of the 252U, that thing only has how much pin on this shell? Yeah. It's APCR, I think, but it's not 290 like the Luva, like the T34, but yeah, this thing would be a 9. The IS-3A currently would be like an 8, I think. Yeah, it's about an 8. It's not bad. You wrecked, if you're top tier, this thing wrecks like tier 6s, but I still think it's an 8 out of 10. Whereas the Object 252U is like a 9, obviously. You're more reliable against higher tier shells because the upper plate and stuff, but it's a gimmick. It is a gimmick. If this gun is accurate, or if the mobility is a lot better, I would give it a 9. If this thing has a 14 horsepower per ton ratio or 15 horsepower per ton ratio, I will give it a 9. But if this thing has like the same upper plate as the Object 252U, I will give it like a 10 out of 10, but it doesn't. So there you go, folks. The new IS-3A. If you already have one, try it out on the test server. If not, then hopefully you get one from the loot box or the random box. That would be also pretty decent. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.